Well, g'day guys, Pete here again from Early Beach the Sundays. Just thought I'd upload this little video of just a takamine that I'm in the process of finishing off some fretwork that I've done, and give you a basically quick run through on the process that I've taken. Obviously this is filmed like most of my videos, or the previous two I've uploaded, in iPod format, so I will do my best to try and show you what I've accomplished here without too much hassle. Basically the step was I mounted the guitar first of all on a StewMac guitar jig that you can see there. I'm just going to spin this around a little bit. Obviously that guitar jig I mount on the tiltable vise just there, that I purchased. I had that made for me locally, a little bit of a trade for a carton of beer. And then I purchased the vise from Adelaide. Now that jig mounts on the vise, and obviously I set the guitar up, which I'll get onto at a later date, on setting the guitar up on a jig to simulate the guitar at string tension. Just panning back here to the so-called guitar. The guitar then is strung up at string tension, mounted on the jig, and then basically we take the strings off the guitar and de-string it, and then we simulate the guitar tension. So I'll try and keep this fairly short and to the point. Once we've got that level at the guitar simulated string tension, I then go along with my fret leveling file and I proceed then to file the frets, ideally remembering to start off down the fretboard as such, straight down the middle to begin with. Now remembering guys that we don't want to follow the lie of the strings on this, because it is a 10-inch radius neck. Or fretboard I should say, because if we were to follow the lie of the strings, we would inadvertently make a compound radius onto the frets and not the fretboard. So basically down the frets as such, and then basically working outwards this way. And perhaps a few of you may have a few suggestions for me as well. So most of the stuff I've learned is through trial and error and a few years of working in guitar retail and shops, and of course obviously videos, etc, etc. So once that's done and we've got the fret levels, then I go along with a 10-inch, you can see here it's a 10-inch radius block along the frets as such, with basically some 360 grit sandpaper to even off and basically get a nice radius on the frets. And then we come to the process of recrowning the frets. Now this here is a as I do promote StewMac products because I do think they're very good. Some people say they are expensive, but myself, here it is sometimes hard to get tools. This here is a StewMac diamond fret file for recrowning the fret files, and then basically I go along and I crown each fret as such. Obviously holding the phone and trying to film this is quite difficult. I will come up with another solution to that where you can actually see it in progress. And we go along as such and redo the frets with the fret file, and then it's just a matter of simply then we sanding the frets back. I start with some sandpaper that I normally buy from the local auto repair shop, and I work that back with from about 240 grit right back down to 2000 grit sandpaper, working my way all along the frets as such. Now what I tend to do, guys, is just tape it off at the 12th fret and work in stages. For example, I still have to do these frets here with back from the 240 grit up to the 2000, but I just find that for myself that's a little bit easier. You might find your own way to be able to do that. And then basically, back with 2000 grit paper, and then the final stage is I take it back then with some some 000 grade steel wool, very fine steel wool. In fact, it's 0000 steel wool. And then also then I'll use a Dremel buffing tool to buff up the frets to get a nice shine on there. And as I mentioned before in one of my earlier videos, it's really important, guys, that you have a little protector over the top end, the upper end of the frets, near the fretboard tongue, over the soundboard of the guitar, just to protect the soundboard from any marks you may cause using a fret file. As I said, these fret files are quite good because they do have a curve on them, so you can raise that off the body of the guitar so we don't do any scratches. So this guitar isn't too far from being finished. Then what I'm going to do is fashion a new bone saddle for this guitar, and also coming back along the fretboard I will fashion a new bone nut from supplies that I have. I make those, obviously I start the initial work on the belt sander, and then I hand file them back using the nut file vise that I have over there, as you can see. And then it's a matter of restringing this guitar. The customer wants the guitar strung with 10s to 46 gauge, so then I will set the guitar up accordingly. Signing off now for this part. I will continue. We'll get on to the next section of this guitar, which will be shaping the nut and saddle. And I hope you enjoy my videos, guys. As I said, previous ones, any suggestions, get in contact with YouTube, because I'd love to talk to you out there in guitar repair land. If you have any suggestions, or we can trade notes and things like that. Thanks very much, guys, and signing off till the next one. And see you later. And one important thing when repairing guitars, always make sure you have a cup of coffee handy, because the late night keeps you awake. Thanks a lot. See ya.